So today, being the sort of closing ceremony for this retreat and the morning session, we will take the maximum advantage of our being together this morning, and primarily for the beginners to learn how to how to design one's own daily practice. And yes, um, okay, in fact, the question arises as to, in relation to what I suggested, that as beginners, we start small and be consistent. Focus should be on the consistency, and then as you become consistent, you get used to the practice, then you can expand on this. So for this, you have the short version, middle length, and the detailed version. We can do one thing. If Sonamla can take do you have the soft copies? Okay, so the list with respect to what is meant by short version, middle length, and the detailed version, you find it with Denzirangdula there, present. And I will request Ajirji and Rajendraji that they can be photocopied. For the people who are interested, you can just they give a name to Denzirangdula and say 10, 20, 30, 40s, we can make a copy and can be distributed, as well as Denzirangdula will make the soft copy of that and can be circulated. So this will tell us what is meant by short session, which will take about short session is the intended for about 10 minutes, and then the middle length for half an hour, and a more detailed like 1 hour. So this is the basic idea. And so now we are being together here, and all composite things is impermanent, and we make the most of our being together this morning session. And to be very honest, from your own life experience, you'll come to know that what we are doing in the morning, with this supported by all your studies, reflection, meditation, the morning session, this is going to be the most meaningful thing in your life. And then as you become senior in terms of your serious Dharma studies, reflection, meditation, you can then add a little bit, add on this, and you will see that the basic structure remains the same. Then you have your own practice, in which case you're doing on your own, and sometimes in group, and sometimes on your own, and most of the time on your own. This is better. Once you are well established in the Dharma practice, then on your own is better. In group, somehow there's a little problem. From multiple sides in group. For example, like time management. Say you focus more on the method of equalizing and exchange of self others to generate bodhicitta, and whereas in group we cannot do like this according to your, say, the stipulation time. Instead, it has to just generally flow. So this one thing. So what I'm saying is that the particular focus from emptiness, bodhicitta, and so forth, then fun, it becomes your personal. In group, say for example, to encourage youngsters, you can do that for group. But once you're established in your practice, then say particularly your personal practice like bodhicitta, emptiness, and then of course the sadhanas. Sadhanas, there are times where the deity sadhanas, then if there's a group of like-minded people all flowing the same current at a similar pace, then you can do collectively once in a while. As I said earlier, for wisdom, emptiness, and bodhicitta, and so forth, just to create an environment, create a community, we can just come together. Okay, let's meditate bodhicitta, that we can do, but otherwise all have to be done on your own. And then keep in mind, as I said earlier, in order to encourage the youngsters who do know that you have been into Dharma for long and you have been very serious, and then you have been also very serious in reality, and then to encourage the youngster, okay, let's come together. We'll do one setting on the four seals. We'll go do one setting on this single point of meditation. We'll do one setting on bodhicitta. We'll do one setting on emptiness. So we can encourage, as somebody who is more established in the practice, you can encourage youngsters and make group. Otherwise, once you're established, then no need to go to the group meditation. Oh, there's a retreat going on in this. A study retreat is a different story. A study retreat, I would say that, say for example, for me, if my teacher is giving a study retreat somewhere, I'll really rush there. There's a great opportunity for me. There's so many things for us to grow. But I would say that you are already established as senior, and then there's the group meditation on shamatha, and these are all personal. You're getting it? Once you know how to practice them well, there's no need for group. But sometimes when the group meditation is very intense with strict regimens of discipline, and whereas when you do on your own, you cannot follow the disciplines, then group meditation is good. Where you go there, you are in a discipline. That's very helpful. Otherwise, finally, as you become senior, you should create your own discipline. So whether you're in a group or not, you should be able to flow with your meditation. So when in a group, you can do the meditation. When you by yourself, you cannot do meditation. And that is when you're with other people, you become Buddha. When you're on your own, you are not again ordinary person. So finally, you should be Buddha at all times. When you're on your own with other people. So this is the idea. So nowadays, it is some kind of the modern culture we are going for a retreat. But study retreat, I told you, is very different. And I would say that the study retreat, particularly, let's say the seniors, they come to this study retreat. Otherwise, in a way, the seniors joining these retreats is encouragement for the youngsters, beginners, I would say, beginners. And but otherwise, unless you have to receive you have some the questions to ask and so forth, that's a different story. Otherwise, even the studies, there are different levels. Some are very sophisticated, and for example, like when was that? Vijayanamana, when was that? We did what is that? Madhyamagatara retreat? May, last year, this year. Last year. So last year we did it. That is very intense. That's only for the seniors. Because that we are going at a very fast pace, and then many of the basic concepts which I just bypass. Because that what we study for in the monastic universities, we study for like the minimum 3 years, and the studies and the masters we study for minimum 1.5 years. So that we just condense in 15 days. So therefore, in 15 days, we cannot go into details. All the details meaning the simpler concepts, we just bypass. So these are for seniors. But these retreats are more for the beginners. So what I'm saying is that even the retreats, they are different kinds. And particularly for the sitting meditation, whatever it be, for sitting meditation, once you become senior, better do it on your own. You don't have to go into the flow of the community, unless you have a discipline issue, right? When you're by yourself, you cannot get up early. These issues are there. Then go into the group. That's better. Group will take you, right? Okay. So with this mind, setting a proper motivation with 3 points, and every small thing that I'm sharing with you here, fun is up to you. You decide. You will decide, and you have to decide, and you will decide. But those people who would be happy to see that, okay, now I have to maintain the practice on a daily basis, then it's good to try to remember all the details. Okay, 3 points to remember as for the set of motivation. So when I say this, try to remember these points, and then But don't worry too much about that. A recording is there. I hope the recording is done properly. Sometimes the recording is not. The recording is also in problem. Say I forgot to put this on, the mic on, and recording is still going there. No sound. You're getting it? Sometimes it does happen. And maybe the recorder is meditating. Yeah. The recorder also does not notice, and I forgot. Right? So recording is going there in play without the sound. Yeah, for maybe like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's happened sometimes. Okay, so what I'm saying is that don't rely too much on the recordings. What recordings we have, for example, Tibet House, where all these recordings from many years, like 14, 15 years ago, at least minimum from that year. And then today we cannot find those recordings. It's all gone because the IT staff keep changing. And then the way they are stored, we never know. So I've been telling the staff, filing. When you leave, you have to give the filing to the next person. Filing. This is now you cannot find. It's not like 70 years ago, 30 years ago, the 100 years ago. It's just talking about the 14, 15. Forget of 14, 15. Even 10 years ago, we could not identify where the recordings are. We could not find. Okay, so don't rely too much on the recordings. Finally, rely on yourself. Just have them recorded in your mind and then try to use them in your practice. You're good. Setting a proper motivation with three points, not to miss. Refuge field, Bodhiji the field, and the purpose of this practice. Refuge field, visualize Buddha Shakyam and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas and all the enlightened beings who you see as the source of inspiration for you with respect to your meditation on compassion and the universal compassion and the wisdom to penetrate into the ultimate reality, the two wings of the bird to cross the ocean of samsara and the mental defilements. And how you visualize all those bodhisattvas, that they are so loving, caring, embracing. And yes, sometimes we do feel that we are not getting proper attention, love, and affection from others. And then when you can imagine all the Buddhist bodhisattvas, the way the mother takes care of you, this is exactly how Buddhist bodhisattvas are taking care of you. And imagine your two parents and all your family members, including children, and all demons and shumis with you. And here you are like the mother, and all others are like children. And they're all suffering. They're all like small children. All sentients are like small children, driven by self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. And all these wars, and all this family, domestic violence, and all these problems of one deceiving another person deceiving another person, all these are happening because of being driven by these two demons inside, and everybody's suffering from that point of view. And the purpose of this practice is to finally, in the first place, to identify that, to recognize that you too have a Buddha nature, and I'm not going to waste my life. Life is very short. I'm not going to waste my life, and I'm going to do everything to retrieve this Buddha nature, the potential for ultimate happiness and fearlessness, as quickly as possible, in a realistic way, not in a dream, imaginary way, in a realistic way, to retrieve that as soon as possible. How? By identifying the nature of the mental developments, then resort to the corresponding very powerful remedy. And the nature of the defilements is of two kinds, gross and subtle. Gross one refers to afflictive obscurations, the presence of which obstructs one from attaining fearlessness, technically referred to as nirvana. And this afflictive obscurations consist of three things, three parts, or three the kinds: contaminant karmas, afflictions, and the active seeds. And all these somehow hover around self-grasping ignorance, either in the form of self-grasping ignorance itself, or the offshoots of the self-grasping in the form of inappropriate attention, affliction, the gross afflictions and the contaminant karmas, or the subtle stains of this self-grasping ignorance and these its offshoots in the form of cognitive obscurations. And given that everything, all these mental defilements somehow revolve around self-grasping ignorance, the remedy lies in the wisdom of the ultimate reality, the wisdom of emptiness, waking up from the sleep of ignorance. So for that wisdom, to what extent this wisdom will cleanse our mind of the mental defilements is determined by the motivation. And the best of the motivation, which can really cleanse our mind completely, is the bodhicitta, the desire to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. And this bodhicitta must be supported by the great compassion towards all the beings. And to what extent you feel compassion is determined by to what extent you feel the torment and the torment of the samsara, particularly the cause of samsara, self-grasping, ignorance, and its offshoots. So, the renunciation should be at the foundation of your compassion, which in turn should support your bodhicitta. With this motivation, then the wisdom of emptiness, the sword of the wisdom of emptiness then can be expected to eradicate all the mental defilements, cut all the mental defilements, and your Buddha nature inside will be manifested fully. That you experience a fearlessness and infinite happiness, and this greatest meaning of life, and the rest, they are just for temporary survival, like going for a job, and power, money, adventure, the friends, families, these are all just temporary, the sustenance, and these sustenance should be used for us to reveal or the unfold this ultimate treasure inside, treasure of ultimate happiness within yourself. So Buddhist mind, imagine that you are leading this practice and all sentient beings are joining you. Page 3. And this by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha with Dharma, I pay homage. And this by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha with Dharma, I pay homage. And this by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha with Dharma, I pay homage. I go for refuge and turn enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Okay, just quick reminder. It's a very important reminder, including myself, reminder to myself. A reminder for myself, how you read the passages, verses, and so forth. There are 3 ways reading, don't forget it. Don't forget it, including myself. When I read this, so sometimes just words flow, but the meaning is not reflected. So I try my best to remember that. Oh, I'm telling others. I also want to improve. For that, only when you contemplate, reflect on the meanings, then the progress happens in the mind. Otherwise, say that, oh, you are teaching so many people everything. No, it will not happen naturally. It must be with effort. When you read it, be mindful that, okay, I need to reflect on the meanings. This is a practice of mindfulness. I need to reflect on meanings. Only when the meanings are reflected, then your mind is being activated. The brain synaptic connections are newly created, which are already created for the meanings you already know. You read it again, synaptic connections, they are made firm, very strong, so that as you grow older, then usually as you grow old, memories fade away. Because synaptic connections, they are very strong, the memories will be so ingrained, so strong in you. Even though you are, for example, look at my teachers, they won 96 years and the memory is amazing. Okay, so don't forget it. Reading these verses, doing the praise. Number 1, you are in the sitting position, and people think that you are doing Dharma practice, and you are very serious. You're doing Dharma, but actually, what are you doing? Just words flow. That's it. Meanings are not reflected, and the growth is very small. So words should flow. This is number 1. Number 2, meanings reflected. Meanings must be reflected. This is what we can do. But the third one, not sure. Third one is where the experience is invoked. That entirely depends on how much experience you have. Bodhicitta, if you don't have the real experience, then you can't invoke the experience. But if you do have some experience of bodhicitta, wisdom, emptiness, and so forth, then as you read, like ye dharma hetu prabhava, hetum desham tathagata hevata, desham jayo niruddha. When you say niruddha, think of the cessation, all in the experience of emptiness, everything dissolves. Your sorrow dissolves, your attachment dissolves, your anger dissolves, and your being swayed by the dream dissolves. Just invoke the experience of the emptiness. So this is the most effective way of transforming your mind, retrieving the seed of perfection within yourself. So of the three, we can minimum do the second one. That is, where the words flow and the meanings reflected. For example, I remember that sometimes when I do the prayers, I feel so tired. Then I get up and do the prayers and walk around. There are some prayers where the meanings I cannot reflect when I'm walking. I have to sit down, where there should be total no distraction. Walking means my mind should be used for which the steps are being taken, and not banging the wall and so forth. My mind is divided, and then the reflection on the meaning does not happen. So therefore, I have to sit. You're getting it? So whereas the meanings are more easy, you walk still, you can think. So these are the nuances. In short, what I'm saying is that all your practice must be cost effective. The effort that you put in, the benefits should be accordingly coming. So much effort put, so much time wasted, spent, but the benefit is so less, provided you don't reflect on meanings, let alone not reflect on, not invoking the experiences. So what you can do is words flow and the meanings reflected. This is very important. Okay, second reading. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanye joda zoge jo namla chanjo bardo dane gyabzo che dage jinso kebe so namge chola penjere sanye tu bare sho sanye Mado dane gyabzo che dage jinso kebe so namge chola penjere sanye tu bare sho sanye joda zoge jo nam chanjo bardo dane gyabzo che dage jinso kebe so namge chola penjere sanye tu bare sho. Okay, now we know the meaning of the following verse, reflecting meanings. This is so profound, and every time we reflect on meanings, the imprint, the seed of the wisdom of emptiness is planted deep in our being. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme of all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, which through the knowledge of all leads here seeking pacification, complete peace, which through knowledge of paths causes those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of which helps subduers expand a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teachers who guard and protect her, to you are my prostrations. The one who has eliminated web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vate mahashamanaye swaha. Om Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaya Swaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Dathagato Hyavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaya Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata, the cessation of taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such is the nectar of Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I'll retrieve. Beyond our trends, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unsees, and stays nature space, is an object apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas, of 3 times I pay obeisance. The forces of the Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcendent sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha, the Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the billions of The Buddha does not wash the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. Instructions on parting from the 4 attachments. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Page 14. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed friend destroyer, the one gone beyond, the 4 destroyer, completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subdued from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you pace out 7 strides, then set them supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, one of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science face like a spotless moon, colored of gold to you I prostrate. Trustfree like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparable wise one to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the low realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, who feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly, this is a teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flammable lamp, an illusion, a drop of a dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through this merit may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the 4 faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the way sickness and death. Page 29, Heart Sutra. The Heart Sutra, the Perfection Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya Tubal gem. And thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling on the mass of Balcha's mountain in Rajgriha together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those five victory gates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five victory gates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is no other than form is also no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composite factors, and consciousness is empty. Shariputra likewise empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unseized, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object with touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element, no mental consciousness element. There's no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to any no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the endpoint of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, sin is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Deyatha Om Gade Gade Para Gade. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in a profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from their concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you've indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding the entire, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed in highly praise that is spoken by the Buddha. As we recite this mantra, just visualize that you are on the Vulture's Peak in Rajgir, and that the whole congregation is presided over by Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Avalokiteshvara, Arhat Shariputra, and all the enlightened beings in front of you, and you, your two parents, all your family members, including children, and all the sentient beings, human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, God and goddesses, spirits, everyone is with you, and where you are encouraging them. And Buddhists, and the particular Buddha Shakyamuni exhorting us thus: don't remain in the fears of samsara. Stop shedding the tears. Come to us ultimate happiness. And you're hearing what the Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting. You didn't inform this to all the sentient beings. Look, this is what a compassionate teacher Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting: not to remain in fears of samsara. Stop the tears of samsara. Come to his ultimate happiness. And you hearing all sentient beings hearing what you are saying, they are so inspired by you to join in this journey of cleansing the mind of defilements, to retrieve the ultimate Buddha nature within us, to experience the fearlessness after all these innumerable lifetimes of shedding tears and suffering. Now, for the first time, we're experiencing what is known as the total fearlessness, infinite happiness. So, Buddhism, everybody is so happy to joins you in this journey of cleansing the mind, where we're being witnessed by all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Deyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Gate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. By the teachings of three supreme jewels possessing power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed with Dharma be completely pacified, may the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified, may we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma, may all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma, may auspicious and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Page 35, 8 verses for training the mind. So in our life we see that the anger is one which disturbs you and which disturbs everybody and will push others away from us. Ego is the one again which destroys you and destroys people. The ambience, whole ambience is disrupted. Ego and anger. So in our life, including myself, all of us, we try best to stay away from anger. Anger gives you a very false impression of the strength. Number one, courage. This is very empty courage, false courage. Number one. Number two, that with anger, then the words usually which do not come can come out. And then the other people, they are hurt. When they're hurt, then you expect that the person should listen to you. When the other person feels hurt, the person will not listen to you. And the person also says something wrong to you. And then you take it. And then you tell other people, that person saying like this to me. You don't tell the other person what you told that person. And then you give up, you tarnish the image of the other person. And then you create a dissension, you create a split between other people. This is all this ego and the anger do. So in our life, just try to stay away from these two things, including myself. I'm telling myself, stay away from anger as much as possible. Anger is a sign of weakness. Let me repeat it, anger is a sign of weakness. Always look for other ways and means to not to resort to anger. Anger is supposed to be there to make things work. But on the contrary, it'll not make things work. It'll destroy you. It'll destroy others. So therefore, always look for the anger is a desperate solution. Whereas the wise people, those people who can look for other solutions without having to resort to anger, these are the wise people. Whereas if you have to resort to anger means we don't find any other wise solutions. So you're unwise, you're weak. Anger is what the animals resort to. For example, you chase the dog. It'll keep running. Finally, when it's cornered, it finds that there's no place to run. Then the dog will attack you out of desperation. Not that the dog wants to attack you, because the dog is desperate. What do you do now? Either you just you have to receive the beatings. So rather attack the person and receive the beatings. This is the dog's conclusion. Weakness. So this is exactly what animals do. So if we show anger, in a way we are displaying our animal instinct of the weakness, of lack of knowledge. So whereas with human beings, and particularly learning this dependent origination, the wisdom given by the Buddha, just think of ways means dependent on what factors will help to resolve the problem peacefully, where the other person surrenders to you without having any side effect. Whereas with force, somebody may surrender you, but deep inside, whenever the other person becomes stronger, the person will conquer you. Whereas with love and affection, nobody will conquer you. Skillful love and affection, skillful compassion. So this is where Eight Wisdom and training helps us to identify what are the causes of anger, what are the causes of ego, and see how to undermine these two, how to get rid of these two things, and then eventually resort to wise solutions when all the problems are resolved peacefully within yourself. Okay, this is the strength. Okay, let's read this together. 8 verses for training the mind with the most venerable Geshe Langri Tangpa. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may view myself as a lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character and those oppressed by strong negativities and suffering, may hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes meets in extreme hurtful ways, may regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may offer a benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all these remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 maintained concerns, and may recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my two collections, vast the space that I've amassed from working with effort as this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddhas for all those whose minds were blind of ignorance. 7 in practice. Excerpt from the King of Prayers, an extraordinary aspiration of the practice of Samadhi. I bow down to the youthful Manjushri, you the Buddhas, the lions amongst humans, God of freedom in the present, past, and future. In the worlds of 10 directions, to all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With energy or aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every particle of Buddhas, numberless as particles, each amidst a host of Bodhisattvas, and I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with the Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you, and oceans of sound from the aspect of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugatas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented walls and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense offered to you victorious ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfume, sandalwood powder heaped highest Mount Meru, offered to you victorious ones. With transcendental offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and ignorance, all those I openly lay bare before you. I lift my heart and rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of soul to realize us here still training and those beyond and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of the worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme will of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for eons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making prostrations, offering, and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. Okay, mantle offering. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun, and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha filled and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. O Sajibge Choshe Mendo Ra Shenyan Dai Gyamba De Sanye Shendo Me De Buvaye Togun Nam Da Shen La Jabarai Sho. The fourth Dharma is Venerable Kambaba. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practices on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. The four Dhammas of Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva, becoming utterly frustrated with the ignorance that grasps at true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all the aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality, on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality bliss and emptiness. Edam Guru Ratna Lagam Niratyami. Okay, now the roadmap to enlightenment, the foundation of all good qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect Guru. The correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly saying this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After that, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karmas follow. Finding firm, definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity, and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great question arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. So, of all other migratory beings, please bless me to say this, train in Supreme Bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop Bodhicitta but don't practice the three types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I pacify destruction's wrong objects and correctly the unified part of karma body and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gate of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges in my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Guru so show the noble path, and the spiritual friends who practice after long lives, please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. in all my lives, never separate from perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities stages of the past, may quit attain the state of Vajratara. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hosts of demons without exception, Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sage of the land who snows, Losan Tabai at your feet and make prestations. Kanchen kebe tso ge tso kaba lo sa ta be shab la so va de me Kanchen kebe tso ge tso kaba lo sa ta be shab la so va de me Kanchen kebe tso ge tso kaba lo sa ta be shab la so va de. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hosts of demons without exception, Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Elosantabe, dew feet and make prestations. Okay, next, Tamje Niru Semkyeba, generating the mode of consuming yoga. 4 points to do. First, meditation, single point of meditation, 5 minutes. Okay, quickly, that the in the meditation, 2 things. One is the errors of meditation. Errors of meditation twofold: mental laxity and mental excitement. And when these 2 things happen, be very watchful that these 2 things happening. When you do see that these things happening, then apply the remedies. That's very important. Sometimes people do meditation for like 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day continuously, and for like years and years, not being more watchful of these points. So if you're not being watchful of these points, your meditation will never grow. Not only it will not grow, that you will build a very bad habit. To undo the bad habit, again, will take more time than to start from the beginning. So these are things to be mindful of when you are in the grip of the laxity and excitement. Apply the remedies, mindfulness, introspection. And then for very specific issues, you have to discuss with your teachers. Teachers meaning somebody who is really experienced, not simply somebody who can teach, somebody who can talk, rather who actually meditates and have these experiences. You just, okay, it's not that who are these teachers, don't worry. Just discuss somebody. If the person understands you so well, the person can easily identify what you're talking about. And many people will not even understand what you're saying. You're getting it. Some people may just rule out saying that, oh, this is just hallucination. You have to do this. And then you know how to do that. It doesn't really work. So this is where you require the help of the very specific teacher. Okay, 5 minutes. Or your renunciation, ready? Based on the 4 seals. Renunciation. Renunciation is to renounce miseries. To renounce the miseries, we need to know how to renounce the causes of the miseries. And the causes of miseries, Buddha identified finally the root of all the miseries is ignorance. And the ignorance, there are many layers, of which 4 of them are particularly related. And the 4, misconceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent, misperceiving miseries as happiness, misperceiving impure things as pure, and misperceiving what is selfless nature as of selfhood. And to eradicate these 4 misperceptions, which are like the iceberg on which the whole buildings are stacked on the Arctic Circle, in the Arctic Circle, like 1,000 years, 2,000 years ago. And with the global warming, the iceberg melts, and everything would have stacked on the iceberg, they all crumble down. Likewise, eradicate this self-grasping, the ignorance, the 4 layers of ignorance, and all what is stacked on this inner private tension, gross afflictions, quantum karmas, they will all crumble down. Then miseries crumble down. You're freed from your miseries. This is freedom. So to get rid of the root of the miseries, to get rid of the layers of ignorance, the first Buddha taught all composite things impermanent. Composite meaning that things which are composed of temporal parts and the directional parts. For example, like body, your mind, the things that you eat, the people who you mingle with, and the house in which you live, the roads on which you walk or drive, all these things, what the physics would call as the things under the physical, governed by the physical law. As when an object is a composite phenomena, it should necessarily be transitory or impermanent. And impermanence is of 2 kinds, gross and subtle. The gross one is the impermanence whose continuum terminates, and the subtle one, not whose continuum does not terminate, but the one which has a mark of momentariness, the quality of the momentariness of the impermanent phenomena, This is the subtle impermanence, and subtle impermanence is the one which governs, which underscores all the impermanent phenomena. So the gross impermanence, for the gross impermanence, is very important for us to contemplate on the impermanence of death, and all the gross impermanence so important for us to contemplate on as oftentimes possible. So this whole universal law, universal reality, all composite things impermanent. If we can contemplate on this reality on a daily basis, it leaves such a precious imprint in our mind that in future, whenever good things happen, instead of getting attached to things, well, this contemplation, this thought, automatically comes to us that even this will also pass away, and the grip of the attachment, aversion will stop, and the imprints will gradually fade away. 200 years ago, there were people of your own age, older than you, younger than you, and they have their own, just as we have our own sets of aspirations, desires, goals, hopes. They also had the same thing. Whether the goals, hopes, and desires, aspirations fulfilled or not fulfilled, now they're all gone. Young ones like yourself, elders, younger than you, whether they have accomplished their goals or not, they're all gone now. And this is reality. And if you don't believe in this, it's so important. Seeing is believing. Look at all the forts that you see everywhere in the world, in the West, in India, in China, in Tibet, everywhere in the world there are forts. Once upon a time, these forts were built by the common people under the fear created by the kings, queens, oftentimes. Now, but these people who built this under the fear, they're all gone. Where those people who created fear, for example, the pyramids, how many people, how they lifted these huge block of stones, like 20, 30, 40 people dragging one block of stone over the top of the pyramid. All the people gone. People who created fear in them, the kings, queens, ministers, they're all gone. Now they become like just the objects of tourism, this impermanence. And one day, it's not that they're unfortunate, we are very fortunate, we are alive. It's a matter of time. 200 years down the line, in future, all what we did, they all can go into the history. And the history will disappear. And out of 8 billion human beings, how many will be remembered then? Only a few people will remember. That's it. This is impermanence. It's for this reason the Buddha taught all what is accumulated will be exhausted. All what gathers will be dispersed. And all what is born dies. And this is absolutely true. Absolutely true. Failing to see this, we end up into conflicts, fights, my property, your property, and so forth. And at the end of the day, we have to leave everything. It's not your property. These are the properties, things which are borrowed to you on loan. And you use them. Then when you leave, you are not entitled to take even a single penny. We have to leave everything behind. And yet people fight over these. Some people, being so nasty, try to grab others' property. And meanwhile, accumulate so much negative karma of becoming poor, suffer poverty in the future lifetimes. This is a very unfortunate story, samsara. And all these changes that the changes that you see in this world, all composite things impermanent, underscores the momentariness. The change that you see within a span of 20 years is possible only if the change happen on a yearly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, hourly basis, minute by minute basis, second by second basis. As the change that you see of the span of second by second basis is possible, the change that you see in the millisecond by millisecond basis, nanosecond, which means the reality of all composite phenomena, they are moving through such constant flux, extremely subtle constant flux of change, which is beyond our eyes' perception, and that's a reality. We can inferentially infer that. When you think about this, it's very scary to see how the whole world of the composite phenomena is nothing but governed by impermanence, momentariness. It's as though like you are thrown in a very fast moving train. Faster train moves, more the fear. Why? We don't know where this train is taking us. And who decides where this train is taking us? It's decided by the driver. If the driver is your mother or father, no doubt will take you to this picnic spot. But if the driver is either the terrorist or under the dictator of terrorists, will no doubt take you to a slaughterhouse. And in that case, the driver's mind, and unfortunately, that is under the dictate of the worst of the contaminations, which is self-grasping ignorance. As long as our mind is driven by the contaminations, this is what the Buddha indicated as all contaminated things are suffering nature. Suffering like what? Three kinds of suffering. Suffering change, and the pervasive condition suffering. And the one moment of such suffering is good enough to nullify all the past moments of merriments, festivities, joys, birthday parties, celebrations, picnics, parties. One moment of such treasure is good enough. Everything, all the merriments, festivities, laughters, they are just like so grim, hollow, meaningless. Yes, this is reality that we live in. We forget the brief moment of joy comes to us. We're just overtaken by this, and we forget all the tears that we shed in the past, and all the tears we are to shed in the future. We forget these things, and we cannot get to understand what kind of tears are waiting for us. We're just carried away by these temporary, fleeting moments of joys and laughters. Yet, when we're confronted with one moment of such a pain, loss of near and dear ones, that's good enough just to see that all what we experience as the laughters, joys, these are all just so grim, hollow, meaningless. This is what the Buddha indicated as all contaminated things are suffering nature. Yes, I understand it. That's true. I've seen that with my own eyes. I've experienced that by myself. And then when will this stop? It will never stop until we put concerted effort to stop them. For example, 2023 stopped on its own, and what we crave to be with our youth. Look at the young actors, actresses of Hollywood, Bollywood, and so forth. It's just so temporary, like the beautiful sky, or a few seconds, few minutes. They'll end up into the autumn, very grey winter of life. This is what is. Look at those young actors, actresses. Once upon a time, now look at them today. This is the reality. So, when will they stop? These youth, they stopped on their own. We don't want this to be stopped, but they stopped. We want the miseries to stop. They don't stop. Then what do you do? Impermanence of three kinds can be classified in different forms. Classified into two: gross and subtle. Classified into three: impermanent phenomena whose continuum invariably stops. Second, impermanent phenomena whose continuum never stops, like time, the mind, and the particles which constitute the universe. They never stop. They're not permanent, but they never stop. They're impermanent phenomena. There's a third category, which stops only if we put concerted effort and never stops otherwise. Like what? Our miseries, our tears, self-grasping ignorance, the pains, the pain of losing near and dear ones and so forth, they will never stop. What kind of effort is required to stop them? Yes, by introducing very strong counter force. What's the counter force? It is the wisdom of emptiness. What is this wisdom? The wisdom is a discerning mind whose apprehension of object tallies with the reality. What's the reality? The reality, unfolding which will stop all the tears of samsara. What is that reality? The Buddha indicated that reality has everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Okay, let us quickly meditate on emptiness of yourself. Because we see that whenever there's a problem, there are two things involved, external and internal. Internal is the you. You're always involved there. So see, when you see that of the two things, the misperception of the self, and that dissolves, our life becomes so easy. All the problems solved. So let us now see the ultimate reality of this self, yourself. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. And what is your body doing? My body is in a meditative state. Okay. And how does this person who you identify as self or who identify as I appear to exist? As like a dream that your mind is creating it, or is so objectively there, so objectified, solidified there? Of course, so objectively there. This belief that the self, referred to as I, existing as so objectively real, that is self-grasping ignorance. And how do you know that this ignorance and this not a valid mind? Okay, if this self-worth exists objectively, how do we evaluate that it does exist objectively or is empty of objective reality? Remember what Arjuna taught. If the mirage were to be water, or not those close by the mirage see water. Okay, let's all say this 3 times together. If the mirage were to be water, or not those close by the mirage see water. If the mirage were to be water, or not those close by the mirage see water. If the mirage were to be water, or not those close by the mirage see water. Okay. In a similar token for reasoning, applied to the self. If the self, who I refer to as I, would exist objectively, why don't I see this self as I go closer to its object? Okay, now let us go closer to its object as per the rationality Arjuna branded. And this mind which goes closer to the object is known as ultimate analysis. In technically speaking, we are subjecting the self or the person to the ultimate analysis. Okay, subjecting the self, referred to as I, to ultimate analysis, just ignore all those things which are not the self, because you're only interested in objectively existing self, whether it exists or not. Okay, subjecting the self to ultimate analysis, we see a very thin layer of the skin. Of course, that is not to identify as the intrinsically objective as this I. The fatty tissues, the muscles, the cartilages, the flesh, the whole skeleton, the heart, the lungs, the liver, pancreas, intestine, all these solid parts constitute the element of earth, and none of the element of earth is to be identified as objective as this self. Okay, element of water, 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to different parts of the body. Of course, that is not the person, that's not the me. Element fire, 2,600 joules of energy of your body. Of course, that is me. That's not me. People can see me. People from distance, they cannot see the body heat. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that you breathe in out through your lungs. Of course, that is not me. Element of space, 99.99% of your body is vacuum. But I'm a solid person. By space is vacuum in nature, if the space is also not me. element of consciousness or the element of mind. I'm a male, I'm a female. My mind does not have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis, purely on the basis of the body. So therefore, this element of consciousness or the mind is also not me. Also that people can see me. People cannot see my mind or cannot see my consciousness. That's true. So therefore, I'm not this consciousness as well. Okay, now what are you seeing? In the eyes of ultimate knowledge, what you see? I'm just seeing the 6 elements. And which of the 6 elements is to be seen as objective as one with this self? None. Okay. Then see if the self does exist as objectively different from these 6 elements. Remove the 6 elements. What is left there? Nothing is left there as a self. Given that if the self does exist objectively, these are the only 2 possibilities, and both the possibilities are ruled out, which means that self-existing from the object is ruled out to be existing. In other words, self-existing objectively is falsified. It is not true. What are you seeing now? That the self, where is the self? Objective self. It is empty. It is nowhere to be seen. This is what I'm discovering. I'm not inventing it. I'm discovering it. Yes. If you get a feel of this, for some people, a tinge of a fear can come. For others, a tranquil, extremely profound tranquil feeling can come. Serene feeling can come. And for some, tingling sensations can flow through your body. Cold chills, cold waves can flow through your body. Goosebumps can come on your body. If it does happen, you're very fortunate. But it doesn't mean that you got emptiness. You are. It's like you're meeting with the light from the lighthouse. You are. This light doesn't mean that you are on the land. You are approaching the land. So likewise, don't feel complacent if these experiences do happen. Then go closer. Still go closer. Put my effort to go closer towards the lighthouse by studying more, reflecting more, and meditating more of the emptiness. If you don't get these experiences, it doesn't matter. Don't feel sad. It is an indication that if I practice, these things will happen for sure. Study more, reflect more, and meditate more. Okay. This amazing experience where the self dissolves in emptiness is amazing. What is the benefit of this practice? Yes, just as this self, when subject to ultimate not to be, to my amazement, I discovered that self is empty of how it appears to me otherwise, which is responsible in triggering all the emotions, fear, and so forth. If this is the case, subjecting all other phenomena, any other phenomena, including sorrow, including sickness, aging, death, tension, so forth, what brings tears to this and others, they all likewise all will be seen like illusion. They're all empty of object reality. Wow, that's amazing. Then my sorrow dissolves. Yes, your sorrow dissolves. Sorrow dissolves and will be replaced. Will leave room, will be replaced by profound peace. This is what the Buddha indicated as transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Stay in this experience for a while, where you experience emptiness, in which directly experience emptiness, in which all the sorrows are transcended, and peace, very profound, reliable peace, dawns. Generally, very strong wish, aspiration, as for renunciation. May I have a very reliable, stable experience of this emptiness where all my sorrows are transcended. This aspiration is known as renunciation, ultimate understanding of, most refined understanding of renunciation. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, take a few seconds before we jump to the Bodhicitta practice. Are you ready? For the Buddhist practice, again, when you're on your own, the best is to practice the two methods: the sevenfold cause effect method to generate bodhicitta, and the method of equalizing exchanges of others to generate bodhicitta. Whereas in group, and I do number one, we have not studied this yet. We have to study this. Only then we can do this. But we do for immeasurables and then conclude with the Buddhist spirit. But this does not suffice. It is not the replacement for the two methods. This is just to make sure that this momentum of the compassion being the being created, so that later on when you practice the bodhicitta based on these two methods, it will be given that the momentum is there, it's easier to invoke bodhicitta. Okay, ready? Reinforce them, given that this bodhicitta is something extremely precious, and our mind, how our mind in general, from since time immemorial to now, the mind flows in the extremely opposite direction of selfishness. Because of that, we have to really bring it back. It requires a lot of support and strength, a lot of support of the Buddhist Bodhisattvas who actually practiced this and manifested that experience so wisely. So let us invoke all Buddhist Bodhisattvas to be the support as a refuge, to guide us, to bless us always. So loving, caring, embracing. And your two parents and all family members, including children, are all demonstration mates with you. And you are encouraging all sentient beings to practice bodhicitta. Okay, the first, immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and causes happiness. May all my dear mother sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes happiness, and causes happiness primarily consisting of the most fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness, and the most beautiful mind in this whole universe, the compassionate bodhicitta. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhist Bodhisattva is witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, like the mother after all these many years of raising her children with so much of hardship today. The eldest daughter just 12 years old and the eldest son just 11 years old. Two of them come to the mother, tell the mother, Mom, please take rest. You have done everything for us. You have showered unimaginably great compassion, love for us. And we also love you. Now we are grown up. We'll take care of all the siblings. And the mother could not believe her eyes and ears, with tears in her eyes. This is exactly what is happening to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. So this joined the pride the Buddhist Bodhisattva feel, invoke their compassionate minds to ascend for nectars of sweeting lights towards you and all dimensional beings. Their mere touch of lights and the nectars with the bodies means yours instills in all happiness, and the causes happiness in the minds of sentient beings yourself. And you are witnessing such a miracle is happening to to you and all demonstration beings. You're intense happy. Take 3 deep breaths now into a sign of the relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my demonstration beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. Causes of suffering primarily consisting of self-grasping ignorance and its offshoots in the form of inappropriate attention, gross afflictions, contaminant karmas. Likewise, what complements these self-centered attitude? May all my Dhamma sentient beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. I will take the responsibility that all my Dhamma sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddha's Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, the intense happiness and proud of you, this pride and happiness invoke their compassionate minds to send forth. Nectar is very soothing light towards you and all sentient beings. The mere touch of light and nectar with the body speaks yours. Washes of all the miseries and causes the miseries from sentient beings yourself. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to all the sentient beings. You're intense happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sound with relief. Immeasurable joy. How good would it be that all my sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. May all my sentient beings never be separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. I will take the responsibility that all my sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, the intense happiness and proud of you, this pride and happiness invoke their compassionate minds to send forth. Nectar is very soothing light to you and all sentient beings. The mere touch of light and nectar with the body speaks yours, stabilizes the happiness and the cause of happiness that the beings are endowed with. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to all the sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take three deep breaths, sound the relief. Finally, immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be that all my sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, and instead they abide in a great state of equanimity, embracing all other sentient beings with total love and affection, leaving none aside. May all my sentient beings be freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. I'll take the responsibility that all my sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, like the mother after all these many years of raising children, with so much hardship. Today, to her disbelief, the little girl just aged 12 and the little boy aged 11, they come to the mother, tell the mother, "Mother, please take rest. You've done everything for us. I can't imagine how much love and affection you showered on us. You sacrificed everything. Now we are grown up. We'll take her for the siblings." And the mother couldn't believe her eyes and ears, with tears in her eyes. This is exactly what has happened to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. So proud of what you have, what you've committed yourself today. And this pride and happiness Buddhist Bodhisattvas feel invoke their compassionate minds to ascend for nectar of soothing light towards you and ultimate sentient beings. They mere touch the lasting nectars with the body speaks yours, frees the beings from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion towards others, and making them abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other dear sentient beings equally, leaving them aside. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening towards all the divine sentient beings, you're intensely happy. Take three deep breaths, sighing with relief. Underscoring all the four immeasurables as unconditional love towards all the beings. Awareness experience of unconditional love, to the extent that each of the beings feels themselves as so special in your eyes. With folded hands, let us make a bodhicitta commitment 3 times together. Imagine that you're joined by all the divine sentient beings, where all the Buddhist bodhisattvas, they're watching us with so much love and affection and joy. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Slowly transform this most beautiful mind into this entire universe, the compassionate bodhicitta, into spotless clean moon disk, horizontally sitting at the heart. Okay, that's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha. But remember, no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out. Yes, I know that. I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds as opposed to being like a handful of sunflower sand. I have a Buddha nature within me. But how come that it is not activated since time immemorial till now, if it does exist within you as a Buddha nature? Yes, you are right. Since time immemorial till today, I'm deceived by the two demons, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude, giving me the impression that they are the best of my friends. And today I'm disillusioned by these two demons. They're not my friends anymore. I'm going to do everything to exterminate the two demons so that the real friends, reliable friends, the wisdom of emptiness, bodhicitta, and compassion, so forth, they dawn within me. What are you going to do to exterminate the two demons? I'm going to resort to a very powerful remedy. What is that remedy? The wisdom of emptiness. What is that like? Let us quickly retrieve the experience for the meditation emptiness, what we did for the third seal as part of 4 seals. Emptiness of the self. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. And how does this person appear to you? As objective real, very objective real, so solid real. This belief, this apprehension of self-grasping ignorance. How to evaluate that? The self doesn't exist that way. Remember what Arjuna taught. If the mirage were to be water, one not those close by the mirage water. With a similar token reasoning, if this self would exist objectively, why don't I see the self as the closest object? Okay, now let us go closer to a subject by subjecting self-analysis. What do we see? We just see the 6 elements as the earth, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness. Now tell me, you're too close to this object. You should be now seeing the objective self. What is the objective self? Which of 6 elements? None. If none of these 6 elements to be the self, then see if the self exists objectively as different from these 6 elements. Remove the 6 elements. What is left? Nothing is left there. Ruling out the true possibilities for objective existence, you then rule out existence of the objective self. Where is the self as object real? Nothing is there. I'm discovering it to my amazement. I'm discovering that this self is empty of objective real. There's no objective self there at all. Stay in this experience for a while and slowly transform this most fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness into a spotless, clean thumb size white vajra, vertically sitting on the Montessori heart. Okay, now amazing, you have the blaze of non-dual bodhicittas. The moon symbolic of the ultimate deconversion bodhicitta, the deconversion bodhicitta which wishes to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. And this guarantees to exterminate the self-centered attitude. And Vajra symbolic of the non-dual bodhi, the non-dual, the wisdom of emptiness from the Adi Bodhisattvas, the ultimate bodhicitta. The presence of this guarantees us that all the mental defilements, be it afflictive or cognitive, will be eradicated completely. Okay, that's amazing. I'm so fortunate. Yes, you are fortunate, but what about your two parents, your children, all of them members, all Dharma sentient beings? Yes, that's very true. You generate a very strong compassion for them. And this compassion invokes the Vajra meditate how to multiply infinite number of times. With great compassion, you share the set of Vajra moon, a set of Vajra moon with your mother at her heart, with your father, with each one of our members, including children, with each of the beings, human beings, animals, insects, herbivores, god and goddess spirits, here in India, in our own country, in the entire world, in the entire Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. All the creatures, oceans, from the tiniest of the amoeba to the biggest of the blue whales, from the tiniest of the worms, bacteria, or the virus to the biggest of the elephants in the wilderness, in the human realm, in the planet Earth. Likewise to with all the creatures who share this. Yes, that's amazing. Let's also not forget that all Buddhist Bodhisattvas are watching us. Yes, why not we invite all Buddhist Bodhisattvas to be the guests and to witness to undertaking the ceremony, taking the estimate Bodhisattva vow. As if just making request to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, let us slowly stand up along with all Dharma sentient beings to make 3 prostrations. Okay, let's all sit on our right knees, except for those people who have knee problem, back problem. Page 50. Okay, given that this is the last day for this retreat, I'm going to quickly explain the words, because reflection of the words will make the whole difference. The first verse, which says that, and this is in the beginning, at the outset, let me say that taking this aspiration Bodhisattva vow is anybody can take it, not only Buddhist, non-Buddhists, non-believers, anybody can take it, as long as it is no special commitments. And if at all you want to have be committed to something, that as long as you feel that from today onwards, I'll try my best to be of service and benefit and be nice, be kind towards other people or the other beings, including the insects, animals, so forth. And if not, at least I'll not harm others. This much. If you can make once in a while, you can become angry. So these things happen. But overall, deep inside, that I'm not going to harm others, and I'll try my best to be helpful and not the harmful to others. So if then this can be a commitment. You're entitled to take the Bodhisattva vow. given that this is a very important journey of enlightenment, awakening your Buddha nature, the seat of the treasure of ultimate happiness within you, which we have never undertaken before, we require a lot of support, incredible support. And the greatest support that we can think of is the Triple Gem. So the first line says, I'll go for refuge to the Triple Gem. And then this journey involves the road, and the road, if it is blocked by the boulders and fallen trees and so forth, again, the journey cannot be successful. You cannot undertake the journey. So the road is none other than your own mind, and your mind must be freed of the mental obstructions like the negativities, negative karmas, and the afflictions, so forth. And best way by which to clear them is by confessing the negativities. Second line says, I confess the negativities individually. And now the road is clear, but if the car doesn't have fuel, again, you cannot undertake the journey to enlightenment. So this car is none other than your own mind, and this mind should have enough virtue, enough fuel of the virtues or the merits. And the best way by which to accumulate such an amount of virtue and merits within a short span of time is by rejoicing in the virtues of all the beings, including yourself and all the Buddhist bodhisattvas and all the other sentient beings, your friends, and so forth. The third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. So now the road is clear and your car is enough fuel, then you asked, what kind of journey am I going to undertake? So the journey of enlightenment, to retrieve this treasure, ultimate treasure, the greatest treasure of happiness and the fearlessness within you. So it says, for the benefit of sentient beings. The last line says, I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, let's say this 3 times wholeheartedly. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, the next 2 verses I'm going to explain it. It begins by invoking your gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas to be here to you. And the first verse is that in the history of the humanity, is there anybody who did this, who accomplished this journey? Yes, once there was a prince known as Prince Siddhartha. He succeeded. Likewise, all the Buddhas of the past, they also succeeded. And the manner in which they succeeded, what makes them succeed in this journey is for 2 reasons. First, that they generate a very strong motivation, the motivation bodhicitta, may I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. Then number 2, to materialize this aspiration of the bodhicitta, they actually engaged in the bodhisattva practices like generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiasm, meditative concentration, wisdom of emptiness, and then added to this skillfulness, aspiration, prayers, power, and the primordial wisdom. So this is how they succeeded. Oh wow, that's amazing. If this is how they succeeded, I'll follow the footsteps. I'll also create these 2 factors. I'll also generate very strong motivation bodhicitta on a daily basis. And then number 2, to materialize the aspiration, I'll also engage everything that I do, I'll try to make it become the bodhisattva practice. So this is what we're going to say 3 times together wholeheartedly. All Buddhist Bodhisattvas with us, and all dear sentient beings with us. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and Lama shall too successful train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise, for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and Lama shall too successful train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise, for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and Lama shall too successful train the Bodhisattva practices. Feel the joy over having received this Bodhisattva vow. And just imagine how happy your mother would be that you start to take responsibility. It's exactly what all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas are feeling today. They're so happy and proud of you. And this pride and happiness invoke the vital moon at the house for all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas to multiply infinite number of times. Like rain shower, they descend to merge with the one that you visualize at your heart, thereby becoming non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, all the innumerable, infinite the number of vital moon from the heart of Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they descend like rain shower, they descend merge with the one that you visualize the heart of your mother, the heart of your father, the heart of each of you, dear sentient beings, including children, and each of sentient beings here in Deer Park, the human beings, animals, insects, hungry God and goddess spirits. Likewise, all these innumerable creatures in the oceans, in the wilderness, in the entire world, and the entire universe. Now, everyone, the watermelon that you have shared with them, they're being blessed, become non-dual and stabilized because of the blessings of the watermelons coming from all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Okay, this is amazing. And we want to make our parents happy. We want to make your family member happy, your children happy. And the best way by which to repay the kindness of all these dear sentient beings is what you've done today. And you have given the best of the gifts to all the dear sentient beings today. And of all the offerings to be made to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, there's nothing greater than what you've done today. The Buddha himself made it very clear. One moment of genuine compassion far excels the gifts of the whole universe filled with gems and offered to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. If this were the case, what I mentioned of our having taken the experience Buddhism about today, you are so meritorious. We are all very meritorious that we got this opportunity to make this greatest of those offerings to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. And with respect to the purpose of life, there's nothing greater than this as a purpose. All the wise people, after seeing the world of the mundane activities, livelihood, and so forth, they come to the conclusion that this practice is of the greatest of the value, which all the Buddhas reflected, contemplated. There's nothing greater to practice than this, and today you did it. You have given such purpose and meaning to life. And all these wonders happening because of all the blessings of Buddhist Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, let us slowly start to make three preparations out of all dear sentient beings. Okay, please take your seats. The Bodhicitta wisdom and emptiness which we practice in order that we continue to meet with these teachings and practice in the future, we include this in the form of a very powerful prayer. 3 times together. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. And now, not only to come in contact with the teachings of the Bodhicitta wisdom emptiness, but to rigorously engage in these practices in the future lifetimes to assure that we try to gel, or we try to connect the two, the practice of the wisdom emptiness bodhicitta with joy, So in the future lifetimes, you find joy, and joy, when you find joy, this is what makes us to move in a practice very effectively. This is what is known as the joyous effort of the fourth anti-perfection practice. Okay, taken from the Bodhisattva Shantideva's text, God the Bodhisattva's way of life. In order to further increase this bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have loosely seized and awakened the mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit, having well obtained this human existence. I've been born in the family of the Buddha, and now I want Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions are true from now on, most must be in accord with the family. Never shall they disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in Hebrew rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. It is supreme ambrosia that overcomes suffering death, is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. It is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease, is a tree that shelters beings wandering, a tree that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. It is the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It is the dawning of the mind that dispels the torment disturbing conceptions. It is a great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. It is a quintessential butter from the churn of the middle of Dharma. For all those guys traveling on the path of conditioned existence, who wish to experience the boundless happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and actually place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of the all protectors and the world to be guests at a festival, temporary and ultimate delight, may God's demigods all be joyful. So let us dedicate the matters thus gathered. Of course, we accumulate no doubt. If we think of our own life, we see that what we did this morning is something which we rarely do. It's a great accumulation merit. This merit accumulation, let us dedicate for the long life of His Holiness, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, and that His wishes, and the dream of the universal ethics, now taking the form of sea learning, may that proliferate in the minds of everyone and be applied, be introduced in all the institutions, and eventually undertaken by picked up by UNO to apply it as a mandatory program in all the countries and in all institutions. So that we can hope that the future leaders will all become very sensible with a great sanity, instead of sending warfares, instead of sending missiles. They will just extend their hands to hold each other's hands, to help each other, and that the wars come to an end and every citizen of the world can take fresh breath of air of peace and happiness and harmony. So with the prayer, let us recite from the verses. A dedicated marriage thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of Buddhas and the Bodhisattva 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine and scripture and insight. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the mind vehicle, and accomplish all the states of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. From my 2 collections, vast the space that I've amassed, from working with effort in this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds were miles blinded with ignorance. Yata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisvaha Yata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisvaha Yata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisvaha